I'm not a professional speaker. I'm just talking to you like you're sitting here beside me at the house. So, drinking coffee, and I'm just doing my onions from last night. Hey y'all, it's me, Hetty, and I'm about to do the last tray. I had 7 trays worth of onions that I've dehydrated. I'm telling you, I'm so in love with this thing. They've got cheap models. Mine is a cheap model. I got it several years back. I messed with it a little bit, and I just didn't have time with everything going on. You know, my mama was sick, and I was very sick when I got it. Really, really sick. But anyway, not here to talk about that. So in the last few months, I've just now, I guess this COVID thing made me where I said, well, I'm gonna get this thing out and mess with it. And I have just been messing with it nonstop since then. One of my favorite things is, of course, I like to do bell peppers and onions. And I do my mushrooms, but I do a little bit of everything. I chopped up 30 pounds of onions yesterday. Now, when I'm doing it for my dehydrated onions, I like to chop them fine. So it did take me just a little longer than, say, just chopping up a bunch of onions. And if you've watched me a long time, you know I like to not quite mince them, but real close a lot of times. And I chop them different ways for different dishes. But anyway, I did almost 30 pounds of onions yesterday. And I put these on right before I went to bed last night. We're cloudy here today, hence it's not very bright. I hope you can see pretty good because I am on my iPhone, although it's got a pretty good camera on it. So I know I'm saying so a lot, and I do that. I'm sorry, I'm not a professional speaker. I'm just talking to you like you're sitting here beside me at the house. So, drinking coffee, and I'm just doing my onions from last night. But anyway, dehydrated onions, you got to try it. This is, like I said, this was an inexpensive model. It wasn't very expensive. I got it several years ago. I played with it just a little bit, and just life kind of got in the way. And like I said, I started messing with it. Now I'm just nuts for it. I do celery, bell pepper, onion. But when I do onions, I do 3 things with my onions. I saute some and put them away. I then caramelize some, because for some dishes I prefer caramelized. So then I caramelize some, which of course I've got videos, and I will put a link down in the bottom to these things I'm talking about. I have got a video. Anyway, moving on, I'll put a link to when I did, I've got frozen bell peppers, dehydrated bell peppers, you name it. I do jalapeno peppers now. I just do a little bit of everything. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Mushrooms. All the basics. I do it, and that way I have it on hand. I have some I keep in the freezer, and then I have these, and these will keep. Look at this. This will be, I believe this is a pint. I'd have to look at it. I'll have to look at an empty one and tell you. This is a pint, and this was 7 trays, and I think I'm just going to get them in there. And look at that. 7 trays went in just perfectly. And I mean, they were loaded. They were not spread real thin. So look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Of course, I'm going to put a lid on that. But anyway, gorgeous. So on to talking. I'm going to be quick because I'm rambling. So onions out of the way. I wanted to show y'all that. You've got to try it. If you've been teeter-tottering, they're so worth it. If you do this, you will never buy minced onion again. It's cheaper. It's fun. The flavor is, oh my gosh, so much better. So it's worth a little elbow grease. And some of y'all, you're working during the week. I know you can do it on the weekend if you're not doing anything else. So, moving on. My hamburger steak with mushroom and onion gravy. I'm going to, onion and mushroom gravy. I'm going to put a link down below for that. I don't know. I'm doing this again. And I've only got 535 views. It's just unbelievable. If you make it once, you're going to want to make it. It was always in our rotation growing up, and it was always in my rotation with the kids, my children coming up. My youngest is 18 now. I'm going to put some links to help y'all. I got frozen bell peppers. I got caramelized onions, but sometimes I just saute the onions. I don't go all the way to the caramelization process. And I do bell peppers. I do my celery. I saute them off for a minute, make sure they drain well, and then I freeze them that way. But I also have gotten to where I'm dehydrating celery in its own hand. Boy, once you do that, it does make a difference, y'all. No offense to Tones or McCormick or any of them, but this is best, and you did it. You know what's in it. There's no chemicals or anything like that. So, and I'm not saying there's chemicals in all of them, but there are chemicals in some. But this has a long shelf life. Believe me, if you made this and didn't use it for a couple of years, you'd still be able to use it. Big announcement. Where have I been to? I have not been putting out regular videos. Well, I'm working every day on this thing, hours. And I told y'all the story before about I had been working on 4 different cookbooks at the same time. They were all different styles. I'm not going to go into them because I am going to eventually get around to back all 4 of them. But I've had people ask me, why don't I have a cookbook? Well, guess what? I was so devastated. I had a hard drive. My fault. I did not copy the files off. I had them all at least 85% finished. At least. Everything but the pictures almost. And y'all, they're gone. Hard drive died and took it with them. And my son is a whiz. I used to work with computers. I started him off. All my children were holding a mouse before they were 2 and could work it too. So anyway, my middle son, he is just a computer whiz. He took my knowledge to the 10th level, and I'm so proud of him. But anyway, even he couldn't retrieve it. So I got so devastated, and then I got sick, and then my mama and all that, and then we moved. You know, like, y'all know what's going on if you're a long-time watcher. If not, I'm sure there's some rambling catch-up videos. Anyway, I'm going to get to it. I'm working on a cookbook. I finally found the courage to sit down and start working on a cookbook again. So I'm going to just take them one at a time this time, and I am saving like a nut, and I'm putting them on SD cards like a nut. So anyway, not just one. And I've also got an external hard drive, not just 2. I'm saving them 3 different places because that was so, I mean, it was, shoot, over a year's worth of work when I was working. I actually was working on cookbooks before I ever had a YouTube channel. So there you go. That's a long time, isn't it? Because I think I'm coming up on 6 years in August 1st to make 6 years, right around my birthday, which is 4th of August. And I did it for my birthday. And that's when I launched it. I told you that story, so you can probably find it if you dig through some videos, that I started this channel for my sons because I was ill and I wanted to pass down, you know, my cooking recipes and how I do things. And my middle son said, you got to start a YouTube channel, and boom, here I am. I'm slow to grow. So many people have surpassed me. I had to get over that. I got sick several times and had other things going on. And I was so sick I had to take a 2-year hiatus. I know that hurt me, but, you know, I'm trying hard for y'all, but I can't get any views. I need some subscribes and likes. So anyway, there you go. There's my announcement. I rambled. I'm sorry. I am working on several recipes and I've got my schedule coming up to shoot. And I've got to decide which one I'm going to head off with. And so I'll have a video up in a couple of days, okay? I will see y'all. Bye.